Aloha family, Spencer-Mack here. It's been a little while, so I would like to start off by creating a talk story video. In Hawaii, they have a term called talk story, and it's when you just sit down and shoot the shit and exchange experiences. And that's the way we used to learn before the internet. But the internet has come full circle, and now we talk story by sharing our stories via YouTube or many other forms of media. I've recognized the value of the necessity of consistently sharing my experience. This is very valuable to me. Our relationship, this sharing, my sharing, this platform. This is my practice. The information that I'm sharing, the experiments and trials that I've gone through, that is my practice. And I've recently really recognized the fact that the more that I share, reiterates the lessons that I'm learning and fuels my own understanding and education. It brings me deeper relationships with other people that have supportive information or mindsets. And it just contributes to the world, as I'm grateful to see. I've gotten a lot of feedback recently, and that's actually what keeps pulling me back to YouTube, is people reaching out and people that I've worked with writing me back and letting me know how life is going. One of the main things I've been letting inhibit me is time, because that constraint, it's funny to value me sitting down and making a video and putting it on the internet, because currently I'm simultaneously really trying to make my grounds financially and in my business world. So my mindset previously was really that this is a waste of time, or it's kind of third priority. It's not up front where things that are of most importance should go. And I've really started to recognize how important it is and the potential of it. Just receiving more support through the clients that I've worked with, both emotionally and financially, through the connections that I've made here. It's starting to fuel itself. And I understand that I need to make more of a leap if I really want to get that ball rolling. So I've invested in a few things, got a proper camera, got some editing software, and I am adding this to my practice. This is part of my lifestyle, is my consistent sharing. This is not my only medium. I like Instagram a lot because it's just quick. I can catch quick ideas. It's just short blurbs doing stories or 1 minute focus. YouTube, I'll probably spend more time doing longer talks or in-depth focuses on certain topics. I want to break things down and do them in a progressive manner, starting with the fundamentals. Because if you're not standing on solid ground, you're not going to make it very far. And that's one of the reasons that I have been absent, because some of the fundamentals of my game were unstable, so to speak. I've run into this problem on 3 different occasions. Once from taking aloe far too consistently, another time from just hardcore intense keto, and this third time, I think, just a buildup of past the way that I've lived and not eating very many foods rich in potassium or magnesium. But basically, on 3 different occasions in the past 3 years, I have become, I don't know what the word is, not chronically, but intensely deficient in electrolytes. The first time, it was because I was chronically consuming aloe, had a mild laxative effect. I was getting most of the aloe, that yellow sap that has the laxative property, out, but there was still enough to give me loose stool over a long period of time, combined with not consuming very many calories or much potassium, combined with sweating a lot, combined with stress, work. All these things deplete potassium. So I remember originally I thought that I had poisoned my liver from this toxin that can build up that's in aloe, that you're not supposed to take chronically. And it took me a while to learn that it was actually potassium deficiency. It was chronic fatigue, like insanely tired, like I was about to just crash, and cramps, and restless legs when I was trying to go to sleep at night. Right? I'm like, how old am I? 31, and I've got restless leg syndrome. But I also found I had pre-diabetes whenever I started testing my blood sugar, so we're dealing with a lot. You know, and for those of you who don't know the direction of this channel, or who don't know me, I am in pursuit of all things that can relieve me of suffering and pain. All things that can accelerate my development and growth to fully embody my potential and to enjoy life to the maximum, just like insane highs, the best high of all time. That's the game, the sustainable high, right? It's one thing I've found, drugs wear off, but a solid lifestyle, over time, you reach those highs and you can maintain them. And once you've done it long enough to actually taste it, you're just gonna keep coming back. So the pattern I've noticed with myself is I'll make these big moves, then I'll hit a wall. I'll run into some kind of deficiency or a lack of balance in some aspect of my life, such as my livelihood or my service leaves me unfulfilled, or financially unable to support myself, or my diet neglects me of some kind of primary element that fuels my drive, that fuels every action, every aspect of communication through the body. The tension, relaxation, movement, thought, the chemical connection that is the sodium and potassium pump that sends signals through your whole body so we can communicate. And when you have these electrolytes in depletion, as I've found, life sucks. One interesting thing, you may not be depressed if you think you're depressed. You may just be depleted in some form of nutrient. More than likely, that's it. That nutrient can be human contact, human connection. That nutrient can be fulfillment through service, feeling like you're doing something with yourself and fulfilling your potential. So that's why I know a lot of people want me to focus on diet, and I will. That's going to be the fundamental foundation where I start. I'll get into recipes and basic fundamental formulas first. But that is only one aspect of the whole thing, right? You got your diet, your meditation, and your exercise. This is your personal trifecta here. And when you have yourself together, then you have your service, because your cup is full. You can connect and create fulfillment. So, every time that I do fall off, I go up, hit a wall, fall back, kind of get into this reset mode. I'll fall back into some bad habits to some degree. I never fall back to where I've been before. Like, I haven't eaten fast food in 15 years. I haven't eaten meat in 2.5 years. I haven't, bought anything that was outside of a health food store or organic in the last, God knows when. I don't buy Schwab, but I used to. And each time you push your standards a little further, you just don't fall quite as far back. You can replace them with different things and slowly move up. So, the more sensitive I get, the less time I spend back, because the more clearly I can see what the problem is and fix it and evolve. So it's been a lot of learning recently, and it's funny how everything comes at once. Like, I hit this wall of fatigue, I had my dad here on island, which was awesome. Not a bad thing, but a busy thing. Simultaneously, it rained for like a month straight, which I found or had re-established to me the importance of sunlight. I definitely was in this state of depression. Didn't feel like doing shit. Didn't really feel like training. That compounded with like cramps and fatigue from the electrolytes. Before I figured that out, it'll throw you off. So, back to the electrolytes. The fundamentals, how fundamental is water, right, as an element of what you're living on? Perhaps the next level of importance would be the electrolytes and the minerals that are in that. I find it funny you start to recognize there are certain themes that seem to be going on everywhere, because my brother over at Vegetable Police, shout out my bro, lots of love and appreciation for your channel. The guy is constantly on it and consistent with his service of sharing his experience, which is extremely valuable. We all need to do that. We all need to talk story, and we have these mediums. But to get back on story, I saw Vegetable Police was also on the IV water, so to speak, drinking potassium and sodium in water, because these electrolytes are key. Something pretty profound that I found out is that you need 4.7 grams of potassium a day. That is more by weight than any other nutrient that you need, singularly. Except perhaps fatty acids, because you need a certain amount of calories. But right under that, 4.7 grams, you need more potassium than anything else. Isn't that profound? For some reason it's restricted by the FDA. You can only get 99 milligrams in like a supplement form, so you buy it in bulk powder. I buy potassium chloride and mix it with my salt and put it on my food, put it in my water. But like I said, I'm going to make a video about that today. So it's just profound. That's such a fundamental element. And I think all of us, I know I was, were looking for this super rare thing, this rare mineral or herb from a far off land, and we don't even have our fundamentals set right. So that's why I want to start by sharing just the standard basics and build up. And that's really going to help me to clarify value within myself as to what's most important. At least this is all my perception and my opinion based on my research and experience, of course. Never listen to anybody's opinion, even if they are in a profound state. They express information, it's amazing, that's awesome, I believe it. I'm still going to try and back check it, fact check it. You know, I'm not going to bet my soul on it until I know it through experience. That's where I see a lot of people get on Amen Ra's case. They're all like, they're pissed at him, they're angry, they call him out saying he's on roids and that he doesn't eat that much and all that, but they aren't willing to even try it because it's so far out there, which I totally understand. If I hadn't already been so far out there myself, I wouldn't have even looked at it. But I've been doing dietary lifestyle experiments for years. I've done numerous fasts in all forms, so many different types of cleanses and detox, like you name it, I've done it too much because that's my tendency, is to take things to extremes. I'm just accepting that now. But the gift in that is I find the edge, and if I share it with other people, it benefits other people so they don't have to find it themselves. So that's what I'm here for, my friends. So consider your comments and your questions food that fuel this practice, my own growth and our co-community connection, and just creating a synergy of growth in the direction of just creating a better community and life here on this earth, because there's obviously some serious disturbance in the collective conscious, the average person. The mindset is off, and there's a lot of different problems. It's not just because of this or because of that, but we have to find all these elements and not just read about them or regurgitate them, experience them, embody them, demonstrate them, because that's the only way you're really going to trigger somebody to get on it. That's the only reason I ever would have done and gone through such extremes to adapt my body to the Amen regimen, which, for those of you that don't know, I fast 23 hours a day. I'm eating somewhere around 1,800 calories. Been doing that for the better part of 3 years, minus a few setbacks here and there, weeks here, weeks there. But I never would have pushed myself to that extreme or gone through the things that I have if I hadn't had an example. And perhaps if I hadn't actually talked with him myself, as I've been lucky enough to communicate with him about 6 times, 7 times through Skype. And so I know him. I feel like I really know him through reading his writings. I trusted him enough to jump in and try something that sounds freaking insane. And he leveled me up in so many different ways. One of the major ones is really refining the way that I research. What is your source? What are you basing your information on? Because you only have so much time. You want to act on the best information that you have. So being able to really find the sources. This all unfolds from the information. We're in a sea of energy that's structured information. So if you have the wrong information, your structure's off. I used to almost have scoliosis, by the way. I had 14-degree curve and spin in my spine. I was misinformed. I found the way I perceive the world, you know, your posture demonstrates your mindset. And so if your spine is, you know, if you're constantly twisting or hugging your shoulders, there's some kind of mindset behind that, something you're avoiding. So, lost my train of thought there. Structure, information. So getting the right information is key if you want to build the kind of reality that you would like to experience. So finding the right sources, learning how to research properly are very valuable things that I've learned from Amen. And I still don't even agree 100% with them, but so far everything that I have disagreed with, there are many things that I have come back into alignment. I'm like, damn it, you were right. So when I share things, when I share my elixir or breakfast smoothie, the things that I share are not totally in alignment with what he does. There are other elements he has that I do not use. There are elements that I use that he may not recommend, and I'm not going to spend my time differentiating between all of them. That is up to you. I highly recommend you get his resources, and he offers them through donation to his email, which I find is a very interesting way to disseminate the information. It's really curious, and that's kind of kept me restricted in the level that I share, because I want to demonstrate respect to Amen and not just be like, yeah, here's the formula. Because you know how many people ask me for his elixir formula? It's like everybody and their mom wants to know, like, what's in the shake? So it's interesting that he chooses to do it that way, and that's kind of restricted me from just feeling free to just share it. So everything that I share, understand, is just going to be my assimilation and unique imprint of that. But by far, he is my most impactful teacher in that realm of diet. I do train differently than him. I'm going to share some different training approaches that I use and information on that as well, because that's a foundational thing. Got your exercise. But I have learned valuable information about training from him. So just grateful for the teachers. Give the gift, right? Give the gift. Whatever it is that you receive, share it. It just creates this current, right? If you want to develop more currency, keep it flowing. Keep the information flowing. Put out more good information, because this world is polluted with all sorts of crap that's not true. And people will say it with such intensity, like they know, and it's fucking wrong. But unfortunately, people will listen because there's no discernment, because they haven't learned. I don't know what it is. You have to have your trust broken by having somebody you thought was preaching the truth turn out to be a liar. I don't know what it is. Unfortunately, I do see that pain is what wakes most people up. That was a large degree of what got me on the path. yes. Yes. I'd say pain alongside with mystical experiences in my life through things such as lucid dreaming, crazy experiences in depths of meditation, as well as psychedelics have also played a very valuable role in my life. So a combination of witnessing the potential of what reality could be, of what I could experience, and knowing what I don't want to experience. Thus, we have the drive to grow. Awesome. I could just rant for days, talk so much. I think I'll start doing like some live stuff. I'm kind of a captive audience, I realize, in the sauna when I sit in there. So if I can get some like lights set up, it might be a cool spot. I can just sit there and hook up some live and we can get some conversation going. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe already. Please send your questions in, like, share. Follow me on Instagram, Spencer.Mack. Where else am I? Facebook. I do a lot more work on my personal page. Once that gets flooded, I'm gonna go to the business page. I gotta get all that arranged. But yeah, guys, and keep sharing your gift. That's one of my big takeaways from this last month is really find out what you already know, what you love to do, what you really want to learn, what you do in your spare time, what you would do anyways, and to start sharing that. Social media is an amazing platform for that. Keep putting it out, keep putting out the content and sharing the information, cultivate the skill, help educate other people on these valuable things, and that can end up reciprocating you. That can end up becoming a livelihood where you fuel yourself financially to develop the practice and passion in your life. That's something I'm really interested in intertwining right now. And I highly recommend we all do that because we all need to be paid to unfold our gifts. So pursue it. Get into it. Another mindset that I really dig, the psychology of this guy, his name's Gary V. He's almost the opposite of all men in the way that he speaks, and he's just this high energy, he's always moving constantly, has no protocol, right? Has no daily consistent practice, except I think he works out in the morning, which he just picked up a few years ago. But Gary V is like this social media guru kind of guy who has a social media company and helps get people's product and information in front of the right people and teach people how to use social media intelligently. And just his mindset and his passion, like he's an example of somebody living their passion. And so hearing him just be so consistent, pumping the vibes of the value of pursuing your passion in your business, and he is all backed on the value of self-awareness, knowing yourself so that you share what you love, and then how to share that and how to stay on it, and the right mindset to stay consistent. So I've really been digging Gary V, and that's a funny paradox. I've noticed the difference between Gary V and Amen. Amen is extremely regimented. Like the timing of the order of his day is very intelligently thought out. And I've been doing that myself to a large degree. And it's very valuable to me because when I know what I'm doing, it's time for this, it's set out as planned, I'm feeling good because I know I'm working towards something that's on part of my plan. So the similarity that I see between these two is that they have just that, a plan. They both have a plan. Gary V, another guy who also sleeps like 5 hours a night, he's up till like 11:30, 12 o'clock, wakes up at 5, just going. He has his whole day planned out, all these different events, talks, videos, every time he wakes up. So he knows where he's going, he has that plan. And having that future thought out consciously and knowing that you're doing something that you've chosen, I think that is why both of these people are in such great states of peace and joy, because they love what they're doing because they chose what they're doing. So that's really something to contemplate and analyze in yourself. Highly recommended, my friends. Awesome. Lots of love, super stoked, excited for the future. Really looking forward to getting back on it. I feel a bit out of shape. My body's holding some water weight, still recovering from the electrolyte thing. That's how I found out I had the electrolyte deficiency. I got swelling in my left foot, which has happened every time. And just I start holding more water weight, fatigue. So I'm really excited that I found the missing piece of sorts. I'm actually getting back on a more ketogenic approach to the diet because one, that really helps me deal with the cravings, which I've kind of brought back because I've started indulging in what they call highly palatable foods. When you eat a food from the supermarket, it has been formulated with millions of dollars of research to make sure that it stimulates your brain to the highest degree so that you remember it and come back. So once I got fatigued and tired enough to eat something that is kind of outside of the box for me, which was a Quest bar in this example, it's highly palatable. It's, you can just buy it, it's right there. You eat it, it tastes good, even though there's no sugar in it, but that eventually led me being more open to eating things with sugar in it, and carbohydrates for myself just lead me to want more food. That's what I've recognized, and I believe everybody's different. I've heard one theory that depending on basically how dark your skin is, but how close you are to the equator genetically is related to your tolerance for carbohydrates, which I've witnessed in myself. Can't say it's true for all, but certainly going back on a more ketogenic diet definitely lowers the cravings for food. So I'm back on that, and it also helps just dump water weight, lose weight. It's the fastest possible way to get lean. If you're just in it for the weight loss, ketogenic diet is the most well-proven way to do that. Understand that it is a science and there is an education behind it, and you want to not eat shitty fats. Don't eat the wrong fats, the wrong types of food, and there are certain minerals that you might be deficient in, so you got to educate yourself on it. But that's what I'm going into for at least the first part. Then I'm going to gradually bring the carbs back in to right around probably 80 to 120 grams. That's what I like to operate on depending on how much I'm training. Boom! So that was a mouthful, talking story. So please give me a reflection on that. Share with me any insights you've gained. Boom. Always appreciate your support. And let's keep it going, my friends. Lots of love and aloha. Peace.